Hello friends, welcome to Technique. This is Nirmal here, and in this video we're going to do a comparison of two budget offerings, the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1 with the Xiaomi's Redmi Note 5. So both these devices are budget offering, with the Redmi Note 5 starts at 9,999 and it also goes to 11,999 for the 4GB RAM variant, while we have the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1 priced at 10,999 and goes to 12,999 for the higher priced variant. So in this video, we'll talk about all the aspects of these two devices and see which is better in this price segment. So let's start off with design and build quality. So design wise, you can see that both these devices are quite similar. You can see that both have a metal construction, back panel is made of metal, looks are quite similar as well. You can see that the camera unit is a dual camera on the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1, while it's a single 12 megapixel camera, LED flash and the fingerprint scanner at the back. And you also can see the design is quite similar except for some minor changes. On the front panel we have a 5.99 inch display on both these devices, but you can see that the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1 is slightly taller and also thicker, and that's because of the bigger capacity battery here. So on the other design aspects, you can see that both these devices have power and volume keys on the right side. The bottom houses the micro USB charging slot, the speaker unit and the 3.5mm audio jack on the Zenfone Max Pro M1, while the Redmi Note 5 comes with the 3.5mm audio jack at the top. Now the left side houses the SIM tray. It's a hybrid SIM card slot on the Note 5, while it's a dedicated SD card on the Zenfone Max Pro M1. Now the front panel has this display, and you also get a 8 megapixel camera on the Zenfone Max Pro M1, while it's a 5 megapixel shooter on the Xiaomi's Redmi Note 5. So that's the design aspect. So we feel both these devices are quite good in terms of design and build quality. The Note 5 is definitely slightly compact because of slimmer form factor, but the Zenfone Max Pro is slightly thicker because of the high capacity battery. So that's the design and build quality. Now let's talk about the display. Now we have 5.99 inches Full HD Plus resolution display on both these devices, 18:9 aspect ratio. You can see that the brightness levels are quite good on both these devices. The brightness levels is tad better on the Zenfone Max Pro M1, and both have 2.5D glass. The touch response is quite smooth and the colors are also quite vivid. Additionally, the Redmi Note 5 has Gorilla Glass support, while we do not have any sort of protection offered on the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1. So that's the display aspect. Now moving on to the software. So we have a stock UI on the Zenfone Max Pro M1 with Android 8.1 Oreo out of the box, and we have stock Android. Although it's not under Android 1 platform, ASUS will be providing updates, and ASUS has promised 2 major updates for this device. So that's something really good. 2 rounds of major updates will be provided. Now talking about the Redmi Note 5, it comes with a MIUI 9.2, that's the latest version of MIUI, and it has Android Nougat out of the box. So the Nougat version is slightly older version of Android, so that's something not that great on the Redmi Note 5, and it also has the MIUI 9.2 global. So features wise, the Redmi Note 5 Pro, Redmi Note 5 with MIUI offers tons of additional features, including dual app support, customizations via themes and second space, and a whole lot of customization options are included. But the software updates are pretty much delayed or will not be getting some major updates. So that's where the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1 makes better sense, because the software is latest and it also will be getting the major 2 updates, that is Android P and Android Q, or whatever the name it is. So software, we feel the Zenfone Max Pro M1 has an edge, but if you are a person who likes a lot of customizations, then you should not be looking at the Android version. Instead you can go for the MIUI 9.2. So that's the software aspect. Now let's talk about the performance. So both these devices are powered by the Snapdragon chipset. We have the Snapdragon 636 octa-core chipset on the Zenfone Max Pro M1, while the Redmi Note 5 has the Snapdragon 625, which is kind of older chipset. And the Snapdragon 636 is a really powerful chipset in the mid-range and does the job pretty well, and it has more performance when compared to the Redmi Note 5 with the Snapdragon 625. Both these devices have a pretty good gaming experience. Again, the 636 has slightly better gaming abilities overall, and so the Zenfone Max Pro M1 has an edge here. So overall, in terms of the performance, both are quite good, but the Zenfone Max Pro M1 definitely has an edge here in terms of the performance. Now both these devices have dual SIM cards, and we have a dedicated SD card slot on the Zenfone Max Pro M1. That's a triple slot, so you can use 2 SIM cards and a micro SD card along with alongside on the Zenfone Max Pro M1, while it's a hybrid slot on the Redmi Note 5. Now the fingerprint scanner performance both are located on the rear panel, and here we feel the Redmi Note 5 is slightly faster than the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1. Now next up, let's talk about the cameras. So we have dual camera setup. We have a 13 and 5 megapixel camera combination on the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1, while we have a 12 megapixel primary rear camera on the Note 5. Now the front camera is 8 megapixel shooter on the Zenfone, while it's a 5 megapixel shooter on the Redmi Note 5. Now talking about the camera performance. So here are some samples we have taken with these two devices, and here we feel the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1 has slight edge in terms of the overall performance in daylight conditions. Colors look slightly better, and overall detailing also looks better than the Redmi Note 5. And also it also comes with a bokeh mode with quite a decent edge detection as well. So that's not available on the Redmi Note 5. And the low light performance, both are kind of average performance, not the great in terms of the low light performance. And in terms of selfie experience, this is one area where the Zenfone Max Pro M1 did not live up to that expectation, and selfies looks quite okay on the Redmi Note 5. So that's the camera department. So Zenfone Max Pro M1 has a slight edge in terms of the camera performance. Now finally, the battery experience. So we have 5000 capacity battery on the Zenfone Max, while we have 4000 capacity on the Redmi Note 5. So battery performance is definitely better on the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1 with a higher capacity battery. Neither of these devices supports fast charging. So overall battery performance is definitely better on the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1. Now summing up, which is the better smartphone to buy in this price segment? So Redmi Note 5 is priced cheaper at 999, that's 10k pricing, while the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1 starts at 11,000. So both these devices have 3GB RAM and 32GB storage at the starting variant, and the 4GB RAM is priced 12k for the Redmi Note 5, while it's 13k for the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1. So there is a 1000 rupees difference between these two devices. For that pricing, we would still go with the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1 because it has a high capacity battery, more powerful chipset, 2 rounds of Android updates, and also the camera performance is slightly better, and the design and build quality looks similar. So our choice in this comparison would be to go with the ASUS Zenfone Max Pro M1. So that was a comparison of the Zenfone Max Pro M1 with the Redmi Note 5. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.